Good evening. This is Reggie Carmayer with InvestCurb Television. This program or segment is Women in Business, and I'm talking to the incredible attorney, Heather Murphy. Good evening, young lady.
Good evening, Reggie. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I brought this wonderful person on because she's a fabulous attorney and a great friend, and I wanted her to kind of give her perspective on, so she's going to tell you a little bit about herself, which I'd like you to do that right now. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit.
My name is Heather Murphy. I'm originally from just outside Buffalo, New York, but I've made Naples my home since 2001. I'm a mom. I'm a wife and mother to three Murphy kids. Two of them are two boys in college and a daughter in middle school. And I've been able to, in between all those obligations, try to keep practicing a little law. But I graduated, I went to school at the University of Buffalo, graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in English and Political Science, neither of which you can do much with. So other than apply to law school. So I also stayed at the University of Buffalo, flagship of the SUNY system, and graduated in 1995 from UB Law School. I first worked for a small firm in Niagara Falls, New York.
Okay.
And that's where I had a baptism of fire, and it was an immigration law firm. Never took an immigration law class in law school. It wasn't really one of our core classes. I think they offered it every other year as a half-year elective, but it was just, I was just looking for a job. So I took a job at a small firm and worked there for 3 years. And all the immigration cases, or all the hockey cases, actually wound up on my desk because no one else in the office was had an interest in learning how the heck to handle immigration as it pertained to hockey. So
okay.
It wound up being a blessing in disguise because I was forced to learn it, and then I wound up spending the next 20 years doing nothing but immigration as it pertains to professional hockey.
Wow. And that's interesting as can be. Wow.
So, but good. Fun fact, I come from immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
On my dad's side of the family, they're from Germany, and on my mom's side of the family, my grandfather in particular was from Scotland.
Wow,
And
what a mix.
he came to this country via Canada.
Okay.
And my grandfather, who was very near and dear to my heart, he was deported not once but twice.
Wow.
One time back to Canada, the first time all the way back to Scotland.
Okay.
Made his way back, then deported again. So maybe there's a reason why I now help folks get to the United States legally.
Exactly. There you go. One of the major questions that I wanted to really ask you is, how do you feel that the economy or climate is for women in business or women in positions such as yours? Because it's very unique in reference to what your background is, but because of you being out there for so long, what do you think can truly help promote let's say someone with a new business now? Because of the COVID situation, we have some dynamic changes in reference to what can be done, and that people want to change what they do. Hey, I don't want to go out to work anymore. I want to stay home, because this COVID thing's made me think about how can I do something from the house that's small that can support my family, but yet I don't have to worry about this disease situation, and I don't have to go back into that corporate situation again. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think I like to always be, I'm forever the optimist, and I like to see I think it's a strength to be able to see positives when other people are seeing negatives in a situation.
Okay.
Being able to adapt. Women especially we're moms, we have kids. So, when I started having my kids, I had to figure out a way to make that work, and how that was going to enmesh itself with still trying to take care of clients. So I think maybe a strength of that women have is our ability to kind of adapt and veer from the game plan.
Right.
Just get it done however you can. With COVID, we've been required to it's forced us to work from home, and moms have made that transition quite some time ago.
Right. Right.
They've been forced to. It's not always easy,
No.
but I mean, I know this sounds kind of general, but you gotta find what's the best fit for you. You gotta
Okay.
find what's a good fit, and just because one thing works for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to be as successful for the next guy.
Right.
Just adaptability and thinking outside the box has helped me anyway.
Great. The question being, in the industry that you were in all that time,
Yeah.
when it comes to being a woman in that, because that's a boys' club for sure. You were in a boys' club.
Yeah. I will say this. It was kind of ironic. I was told more than once that, in this male-dominated. So I did work for a number of different hockey leagues, but I dealt with a minor hockey league that had about 27 teams in it. So,
Okay.
all the
That's a
players,
lot.
all the players are male.
Mm-hmm.
All the coaches are male. They did have one female general manager,
Okay.
but other than that, all the GMs are male. Directors of hockey operations. It was like living in a men's locker room.
Gotcha.
More than once, though, I received commentary that the reason that they liked dealing with me was because I never played hockey. I didn't really know hockey, so
Right.
I wasn't trying to pretend like I knew what they were talking about. I just kind of, it's hard to put a hockey team on the ice if nobody has their visa approved.
Right.
It's
Right.
hard for Canadians and Europeans to play hockey if they can't get across the border. So,
Right.
Hold on. I kind of just stuck to the business of getting the job done, and I wasn't trying to. I think they had another attorney who was male who tried to talk their lingo and tried to be one of the guys.
Right.
I knew that wasn't going to be me, and
Right.
they preferred it. They
Okay.
preferred me to just handle the immigration end of things, and they knew they could count on me because, like I said, if you don't have approval, then no hockey gets played.
Right.
But I've always kind of tried to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I instill in my own kids. Just I'm a female attorney, and I don't try to act like I'm anything but.
Right.
I've found honestly that being a woman has brought me more. I think there have been more advantages that I've reaped from it than disadvantages.
Okay. Do you think that with that being a woman, do you think that because you're a woman and a mother, that the comfort level with GMs and with players and even with players' families are different because they don't think that you're looking at it from the standpoint of taking advantage of the situation, more so that you're looking at it from a mom and how I'm going to take care of my kids? Is that
Sure.
why? Is that
Sure.
more?
In fact, A typical professional hockey player playing minor league hockey might only be 19, 20, 21 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So, they're just kids
Right.
in my
Right.
book. So I was more like a mother hen to
Right.
them.
Right.
And I more than once I would get on the phone and speak to the parents of the player who was traveling to the United States for the first time, and just to try to reassure them. So I think that it's not a bad thing to use the female slash motherly instincts, the nurturing.
Mhm.
Um, I always had more than it seemed like I always had more than a business relationship with my clients.
Right.
It felt a little bit more like, yes, there was that professionalism.
Hmm.
They could count on me. They know they could count on me for the knowledge and to get the approval.
Right.
But at the same time, someone that they could confide in. And I think that there are some people that maybe feel a little more comfortable confiding in someone that looks like I do,
Hmm.
versus someone a little more menacing. I don't know. I'm not menacing.
That's true.
Maybe.
That's true. No,
Yeah.
but no. When I met you, I mean, you got to think about it. When I first met you, I was like, well, we had a very good relationship from day one, and I felt the same way. So I agree with you completely with that. It's just a lot of times you're wondering how a how to create that relationship, and whether the person that you're talking about, something that's going to dictate where you go in your life in some senses, especially with hockey players at that level, because they're either going to NHL or they're making a little bit of money to save the money to move on at school or things of that nature. Who
Yeah.
are they dealing with on a consistent basis?
And people are more inclined to trust you when they feel that you're being authentic.
Yes.
And when you're too many people, I think, hide behind an email.
Hmm.
Pick up the phone, call
Right. Right.
call call the
Right.
people that are paying you to look out for their best interests.
Right.
Travel, and if you have the chance to meet your clients, meet them face to face. I just think that it's a relationship. So just be authentic. As soon as someone thinks that you're, uh, you know, trying to be something you're not,
Hmm.
uh, it,
Right.
it, it doesn't
The
it
alarm,
doesn't work. It
the,
doesn't work
the,
to build it.
and then the alarm goes off.
Yep. Yep.
What are some of the qualities that you think, if I'm looking for a if I say, hey, I'm going to find a female in this particular genre that I would like to work with, what do you think are the let's say the 3 or 4 points in reference to what I should be looking for within that individual? And I mean personality wise, because again, like you said, you create the relationship and then you're willing to have the discussion. I mean, and to disclose to everyone, Heather and me are very close. We're good friends, and we talk about that. She guides me with a lot of decisions that even I'm making with business that we're working on as well. So that's why, and I'm just closing it so everybody knows that, so they understand our relationship. But I'm asking you this as in a third party sense, to be able to tell the viewers, hey, if you're looking for an attorney or you're looking in business and you're looking at it for a female, particularly in business as well, what are the points that, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this? What are those characteristics that they should be looking for?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, the person has to have the knowledge. They
Mhm.
have to be well versed in whatever field it is.
Right.
They have to have the education and the experience to properly accomplish whatever the professional goal is. You have to have someone who knows what the heck they're talking about, not
Right.
just faking it.
Gotcha.
So there's that. I think that you have to have someone who is honest, and by honest I mean willing to, especially if you're an attorney, you don't sugarcoat things. You let your
Right.
client know the good
And
and
the
the bad.
bad. Hmm.
So you're doing your client a disservice if you're not being truthful about their chances. Don't tell them that, yeah, You're going to get approval when you're really not. If it's a less than 50-50 shot, that's what you tell them. That's what you tell them, and you just assure them that you're going to work your darndest to to get a favorable outcome.
Right.
Work ethic. You gotta. Women have a lot on their plate, but if you're willing, if I take on a case, I don't take on a case unless I can devote the amount of attention to it that needs to be devoted. And some, as I after I had my third child, I really had to dial it back, because if I can't give a case the amount of attention and time that it deserves, I don't want to go halfway. I need to be able to tend to it as it deserves to be tended to.
Gotcha.
But in an attorney client relationship, I think as an attorney you have to be likable. I mean, you could be the smartest attorney in the room, but if you're just a jerk,
nobody wants to deal with you.
Right. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to have knowledge, work ethic, but I think probably most importantly, likability.
Likability. Wow.
Likability.
Huh.
Don't be a jerk.
Right. No. I mean, and you don't think of it from that standpoint. You're like, you just say, oh, the guy's smart and but you never think about that connection as well from a likability. Because like I said, I'm writing notes on what you just stated, and I'm like, wow, I never would think. I would have never put likability. I would have never even thought about that.
Like you, from just first meeting you, I just know, Reggie, he's very knowledgeable on a variety of subjects, but he'll tell you like it is.
That's because of age. I got older. Because I got older, that's why.
Well, unless you have me totally fooled, I also think you're a good guy, and that's something that in any profession, just be known as a good guy, if nothing else. So.
Well, I thank you so much for taking some time out just to talk to me. I'm going to get you in later episodes because I have plenty to ask you, and your knowledge is well versed. And I think the side that I'm probably going to talk to you next, because we have another segment that's called After the Game, which is about athletes and what they've done expense wise with their funds. So it's really kind of like really interesting. I just had the first segment today. But we'll definitely get into kind of a discussion about that. Again, good evening, and thank you so much for being on Women in Business, Miss Murphy. We will talk soon. Tell your husband I said have a great one and have a great evening, and thank you. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Reggie.
Take
care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello. This is Reggie Carmade with InvestCurb Television, and I've got Mr. Wendell Higgs with with HPGI Homes of Atlanta, Georgia on the line. What's up, Wendell? How you feeling?
I'm doing okay. We're getting ready to spread down into Florida now. Watch out.
He's coming. Wendell is a premier wholesaler. I've known Wendell for a long time. I can't tell you how much wisdom I got from him, what he's going to really teach you. We're going to have a few segments with Wendell, so he'll kind of school you on a lot of things. Wendell, tell us what you do.
I'm basically a wholesaler. I find properties at discounts and sell them to investors, whether they be builders, rehabbers, landlords, or just hedge funds. It doesn't matter as long as I'm making a buck.
Gotcha. Wonder what got you into wholesaling?
Age.
Age. Okay. Okay.
Basically, what happened is I was, looking for a job in my mid 40s,
Wow.
and with my experience level, salary requirements, it was like, hey, I can't get a job. I can't get a $75,000 job. Come on.
Right.
So
Exactly.
basically, I went to the employment office, and there was a guy there. He said, "Look, I've been here 25 years. Dude, you might as well start your own business." And he said, "Look, bottom line is you're 45. You have reached the mark, the ceiling, where you're looking for a job that's going to pay you what you're worth." Okay.
Right. Right.
And in actuality, you'll never get paid what you're worth in corporate America. So long story short is that they could hire two 30-year-olds, 25, 30-year-olds, or college graduates, and pay two of them your salary, what you're worth.
Gotcha.
So long story short, I was like, okay, I'm looking at late night TV, and one of the real estate gurus, Dean Graziosi, was on TV talking about buying properties cheap. Now mind you, I got a background in finance and real estate, so I had no clue what wholesaling was.
Wendell, stop right there. Tell them your background.
Oh, I got a degree in banking and finance, first class at Morehouse Real Estate Institute, collections, financial planning, was licensed to sell securities, insurance. Also had my mortgage broker's license at one time.
Right. You're well versed in every area. It wasn't you could have gone a couple different ways, but I get where you're coming from. Okay, so go back. I want everybody to know what you did previously.
Yeah. So the long and short of it is that I had two kids in college, so no, I didn't have the $1,900 that they wanted for their little course. And at the time, this was 2011. Yeah, 2011. And at the time, that was when YouTube, I guess call it YouTube University came out.
Gotcha. Right.
And I'm like, well, wholesale real estate. Let me look that up. Wow, there's a lot on wholesaling. And I got my education in wholesaling from YouTube University. Being with my background in finance, it's not finance, real estate, mortgages, investments, it didn't take long to realize, talk to a seller, talk to an owner of a dilapidated house. Do you want to sell that property? If so, hey, I'll buy it from you at this price. Wait a minute, Mr. Investor, you looking for houses to rehab? I'll sell it to you at this price.
Right.
Make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in the middle.
Can't beat that.
Don't get me wrong, best paying gig in the world.
Gotcha.
But you have to be consistent with it. You have to market consistently. You have to do what's necessary consistently. You have to get cash buyers. You have to get hard money lenders. Which is another aspect of what I do also, is I actually broker some of the hard money loans. I've got clients that, hey, they come to me for the property. Hey, I got this company that does the property and this company that does the loan.
Right. Gotcha. So it's multiple income streams.
Yeah.
Got you.
So
question being is, how do you think that with what we're going COVID-wise, how do you feel that's going to affect your business?
Well, it hasn't.
It hasn't.
Because there's always people selling properties. There's always going to be distressed homeowners, distressed sellers. Now, a matter of fact, in about probably 6 months, we're going to have a takeoff in a certain area of the wholesale market, which is the pretty house business.
Okay. And now that in Atlanta, you're saying exclusively, or you think
Now
nationwide?
that's going to be nationwide.
Okay.
Basically, it's going to be actually more devastating than 2008 was.
Wow. That's wow.
Because 2008, you had roughly a million and a half homeowners that were in foreclosure.
Right.
Now you got roughly 4.5 to 6 million.
Man, so you think the market's going to be flooded that heavily because of the COVID situation, because it just lost the jobs and the replacement job situation? Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of employees realize, hey, I don't need that many people, yada, yada, yada.
Not just that, but then with, some people lost their jobs because, hell, they were making $4,000 a month on unemployment.
Right. Yeah. And they make more unemployment than they want to work. Right. Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. My son's a manager of a coffee shop, and he's got 2 people that he's actually had to take to court or just notify unemployment. He said, "Look, I don't blame them. They'll make you $4,000 a month on unemployment, but
right,
they should have came back."
Right. Exactly. Wow. So with that being said, in your business, roughly how many units do you move on a monthly basis?
Lately, I've been moving right at 3 to 4 units. This month has been real different because I haven't been moving houses. I've been moving lots.
Okay, which is interesting. Okay, because so wholesaling in that sense is not just the house itself. It's the house, it's the property. It could be both. It just depends.
Yeah. And it could be residential or commercial.
So
I've got a piece of commercial property. It's worth about $7.5 million. And no, excuse me. It's worth about $2.5 million, and we're trying to move for $465.
Wow! So that kind of equity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 4.6 acre lot with a 1,200 square foot structure on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a couple of things with the structure, or you could basically bulldoze it and put up townhouses.
Gotcha. Okay, so the applications are really kind of endless depending on what you're looking at or how you're looking at the project.
Yeah. So, and like lately I've been just did a $400,000 deal that closed yesterday. I've got a 150 plus 90. Well, I didn't do the loan on that one. I just sold the property. $154,000 deal. That's closing tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow, Friday.
Right.
Another deal. I'm flipping that one for $75,000. Then I just secured the pricing on 3 lots that I'm getting the lots for $12,000. I'm selling them for $26,000.
See, look at you.
A piece.
A piece. Wow. So the thing is, so the bottom line with wholesaling in that respect, just to this brief conversation, because guys, we're gonna have a couple segments with Mr. Higgs, so you'll get a lot more. But that's who he is. He's always been this way. It's his personality. However, with wholesaling itself, and the average guy getting into it, how does he do it? Just give me a little bit, because I gotta save some of what you got. Just give me a little piece.
First things first.
This is part 1. You got 3 parts.
Oh, dang. All right. First things first, educate yourself.
Okay.
There are courses out there online. Dan Merrill has a $5 a month course. You got major gurus out there that's got courses. Don't spend no $50,000 on no course. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you for telling us that.
Like Dan Merrill in his meeting, he promotes his Fortune Builders, which is basically dumping the kitchen sink on you.
Right.
And they charge $65 grand for it.
Right,
I
but
mean, if
most
you
people
got
can't understand it. But
you
if they
know,
understand it,
I
can they deal with
mean,
that?
let's put it like this. Back 6 years ago, I met some people who dropped, and he was offering a course then for 35,000. And I met like 4 of his people that were floundering. And I'm like, look, call the 800 number. They can get you going. You paid the money for it.
Right.
Man, but you right here. I'm like, okay, understand. I'm gonna make some money off you.
Right. Well, you have to get compensated. I mean,
You know,
be fair about it.
so what I did, I actually JV'd with them. And they were into the rehab because that's
Okay.
the thing that most of these people are promoting. Rehab property. You can make $60,000.
Right.
Okay. First, learn the business.
Right.
Learn the business first. Learn how to wholesale first. Then build your capital up. Then look at possibly rehabbing or possibly becoming a landlord.
Gotcha.
Okay? There's phases in the business: wholesale, rehab, landlord, develop, you know. I mean, but get your education first.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? I mean, if I have to recommend one segment, one group, it would be Renatus
Okay.
and your local RIA.
Gotcha.
That's your Real Estate Investor Alliance, for those that don't know. There are RIAs everywhere that
Right.
meet monthly. Now they're on Zoom like everybody is now.
Right.
And there are local mentors that you can get. And I definitely would recommend getting a mentor. You know, that's what I should have done. But, you know, me being hard-headed, and in everything I've done, I've been self-taught.
Gotcha.
I would not recommend that for everybody.
Right. Right.
But okay, I'm hard-headed. Okay,
Right.
and I'm stubborn. Okay, I mean,
Right.
you know, shoot, when I first got into security investment, financial planning, you know, I had people that had been in it for a minute. Next thing I know, I'm like, look, I ain't flunked the test in my life. Give me the insurance exam. Let me take the securities exam. Let me take the variable life annuity exam. Da, 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 da. And I passed them. Everybody, man, you're going to fail it. Like, please, I ain't never failed a test in my life. Okay. I passed all 5 exams on first go round.
Right. Now,
And I started talking to people.
Right. So the question with that, you know, kind of this is to sum it up in that sense, get some education first. Take your time about, don't jump into it. And you don't, and bottom line, you don't need to spend $50,000 on a course. Bottom line.
Exactly.
You know. Well, Wendell, thank you for your time. This is segment 1. I got 3 seconds with you. This is the first segment. Y'all gonna get some more from him. Wendell, give us your email address so they can contact you if they have any ideas or anything, any questions, or they want to get in contact with you in Atlanta and buy property from you.
Okay. My email address is Wendell, Wendell @hpgihomes.com. You can reach me via phone 678-598-5295.
Wendell, thank you again. This is segment 1. Yeah, I got 3 seconds with Wendell, so hit him with it. Hit us with some email. You can hit me with some email and go from there, and we'll get back to just InvestCurb TV, wholesaling with Wendell Higgs. Thank you, Wendell, very much. Have a great night.
All right, you too, Reg.
Okay.
Yeah, but when it comes to representation, you know, a lot of players, they haven't been in professional settings. They don't even know how to vet the right representation, right?
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And you never think about that, you know, when you're looking at it, looking at this television, and you got to realize now I got a Division I player in the house, you know,
Right.
and we're going through the whole process. He's got the, you know, top 20 after him. He's made his decision basically on 2 and narrowed it down. And at the rate he's going, it looks like he's going to have that opportunity to make the league because he's and he's got he's at that top. He's in the top 300
Mhm.
ESPN. And I'm looking at this like, okay, I've seen all these young men make these mistakes.
Mhm.
How do I kind of make sure we guide him the right direction? Even though I'm a finance guy, I still sometimes there's nuances that come into place. I got to figure out who do I call to solve that problem.
Right.
And they never really put it in place. I think for me, looking at it as being an athlete as well, they never put in place those checks and balances to kind of support these athletes getting these tremendous amounts of money. Because irrespective of what anybody says, if it's $100,000, $200,000, most don't make that in 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
They're looking on just a signing bonus. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that numbers now are astronomical. So, how do you deal with that maturity level wise? Because most of these guys are young; they're in their early 20s. They
Mhm.
they've never seen money, have no idea how to
No.
manage. They don't understand how to manage money. So
Mhm.
it's just so. It's great that you're here, being able to kind of disseminate this information. At least give us some pieces of it and how they
Right.
should take this. From that standpoint, from what you just stated, which was very eloquent, how that young man, what do you tell him initially? He gets his education. Let's say he gets that. Okay, I understand finance to some degree. How do I build that team? Because what you're telling me essentially is they've got to build a team. And all of us look at the guys on television who are successful. But I mean, who is that team that you tell them? I'm sitting there and I say, okay, come on, you're going to go to Spencer, sit down, and Spencer's going to kind of take us through this.
Mhm.
You're telling me to tell my nephew, or you're saying to my nephew as his advisor, what? Or you already got him educated and all that stuff. What's the team?
He needs to understand. I mean, the team is relevant for what he has going on, right?
Mhm.
But you're gonna need a good accountant, right?
Mhm.
Who understands that you're a W-2 employee, but you're also a statutory employee because you have a likeness, right? So
Right.
you got to have an accountant that understands that you're playing both sides of the fence and how to organize different type of incomes that come in. That's number one, right? Then you need, I'm even up in the air about agents, right? I don't want to
Right.
knock all agents out the door, man, because I feel like some dudes need them. But I think if you're high enough, if you're too high profile, you probably need somebody to negotiate the nuances. And if you're too low profile, you probably need somebody to get you in the door. But honestly, I think most dudes, if you're well spoken enough, you can represent yourself and you can keep your 3%, right? So
Got it.
I would say you need to hire a lawyer at some point to review whatever contract you sign. So anytime there's a contract, whether it be with your respective sport or whether it be with a shoe deal or a apparel deal, don't have somebody on retainer. I would say pay somebody for the job to make sure it's done right.
Gotcha.
And then be done, right? So you do need a lawyer at some point, right? And then you need a financial guy. And I tell people, ask me all the time, like, Spence, how do I choose a financial advisor? And the financial world is so regulated now, there's not a whole lot of outside of the box things that we're doing, right?
Got it.
And unless you're doing private stuff and you're working with a hedge fund, like most of us are going to be saying and doing the same exact things,
Gotcha.
right? So you have to understand now, what are you paying for? Why is this fee for this person? Because you have to know this person is doing the best things in your interest at all times, right?
Gotcha.
And the only way that you can secure that, right, is to work with somebody who has some skin in the game with you, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Now with the skin in the game situation, what is the skin in the game? Give me that.
It can be just pure. Am I only there to be your financial advisor, or am I there for other things, right? Do I include myself in your life? All my clients know my wife and my son.
Okay.
I know their wives and their kids, right?
Right.
I show up and support their events, right? They introduce me to their friends, right? So the atmosphere develops. Like if I do something adverse, not only am I disrupting that relationship, but all the relationships that I have to answer to, right? So, skin in the game, it can just be something where somebody is stretching themselves out more than just transactional.
Right. So that social interaction creates a different experience, a different mindset, as well as a different responsibility. Because now your level of responsibility, now that's it's a friend that I'm taking care of, and I'm taking care of their kids and whoever else they're taking care of, because my decisions can weigh heavily what happens in their household. Somewhat that's kind of what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, with that said, you're looking at an analysis of the economy. You're looking at the analysis of what their portfolio is in general as well, and their personality. From that standpoint, are you telling them to budget themselves in the sense of, if I've got, you know, like some of these contracts now, like I said, let's use $1 million, for instance. Some contracts like $1 million. Do you tell him, hey, you're getting actually $1 million in your hand? Let's say this is your taxes, you know, if you're getting, let's say 1.5, 5 is going to taxes and fees and all that stuff. So you got $1 million in hand. I've got $1 million, and son, this is what I want you to do it. I'm going to do, what type of mix would you tell them investment wise as well?
Well, if we're talking about a professional athlete, right? Most professional arenas, they provide a 401k that can't be matched by any financial institution. Like most of those, they have a 50% match on their stuff. Like you just can't.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
That's too much free money. So they need to do those things, right? They need to do whatever the vested things to get those pensions from the arena. The next thing is they need to be an extreme budget. Right, we need to figure out, okay, how much fun we trying to have? What are we trying to do? Right.
Gotcha.
And to me personally, I don't think a 20-something-year-old needs more than 60 grand a year to do what he needs to do.
Gotcha.
Right, regardless of what his number is in hand. Right.
Okay.
And then after that, with the excess, right, he needs to have a portion of that starts working in a safe, guaranteed way. He needs to start making money outside of the sport immediately. And proven concepts. I'm not talking about the idea you have about the restaurant or the nightclub. I did a nightclub, right? I was crazy, right?
Right.
I'm talking about stuff that's proven and tangible, right? You need to start doing that first, right?
Okay.
Stuff that's not backed by a piece of paper, right? But stuff that's backed by something that's truly tangible, right? That's first, right?
Yes, right.
You know what I'm saying? Get a secondary income flowing, right? And you don't want to necessarily claim that income. You want it to sit in a place and have it growing until you need it, right? Because we don't want to take that income because they're already in the high tax bracket, right? So we need that money in a holding situation where it's just continuing to grow, right? It's still cash. We still have it, but it's growing, right? You also need to have some money that's asset protected. So you need, you know, the right entity set up, right? So you need
LLC or whatever, S corp or however, whatever you're doing with whatever you're doing.
100%, and then you probably need, you know, there's a ton of things you can do with life insurance policies, bro.
Yeah.
That have guarantees attached to them, right?
Right.
And people don't know this. I probably shouldn't even say this on here, but those life insurance policies, they're like prenups without having to say it's a prenup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Depending on where you live, those are federally protected.
Right.
So that means no lawsuit, no marriage, no nothing can have access to the funds within that. So doing that as well. But I don't think guys should be investing in the stock market. Man, you gotta understand, they're in a career where they've already bet 100% on their body. Something that is designed to break down, especially how they're going to be using it, right?
Right.
There's nothing more volatile than that. So why would you double down on the volatility and start doing stuff that's in the market, right? So if you're making your money in a volatile short-term way, you need to be doing stuff that's safe and long-term outside of that, right? And there's a lot of different ways to do that. I mean, you can think about real estate, you can think about the cash value, you can think about, you know, bonds, right? Depending on interest rate market, like there's a lot of stuff you can do to accomplish that, right? But I think that's what they do.
Okay. Now, where do you see things when it comes to, let's say and this is a generalized question to kind of close, where do you see things going in the next, 18 months? Look at the COVID situation, and because you're on the inside, looking at it every day, you're looking at trades every day, you're looking at charts every day. Where do you see things going? What do you think is the play now? Is it a conservative play? Should that player or that individual listening to us right now, should they be conservative in the box now? Should they be kind of, hey, let me be a little risky? What do you think the play is?
I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now, right? There's so much change on the horizon. I don't think I would be prudent to make a prediction because we're in uncharted ground. I think there's going to be more changes to our American society then we know, right? And we have no idea, how that's gonna affect us, right? I mean, we can talk about all the free money that's being printed, right? We can talk about all of a sudden the change shortages. So we know that's a play to get rid of physical currency, right? It can go, but then politically you have a lot of people who don't want that to happen and are giving pushback, right?
Right.
We don't know who those people are, how powerful they can be to delay this process. So we're on unprecedented grounds, right? To me, I think raw land is the new gold. That's just me. I think there's still a lot of money to be made in the market short term. But I think it's so much change we have no idea. But I think systematically we understand that the powers that be are going to make sure, because they make their money with the same thing, right? So so
they're gonna make sure it works.
Yeah, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it work, right? So, and I can say that with confidence that they're gonna make it work, right? How it's working, I couldn't.
The mechanics you just don't know.
I don't know.
The way you look at your term on short term, are you looking at short term from the standpoint of months, or are you looking at short term, 3-month quarters, or are you looking at it from half a year situations? What is your definition of short term? And the reason
we're talking
this question is because a lot of times everybody looks at short term kind of differently. Some will look at it like, I think ultra short term, which is 2 months. To me, is kind of ridiculous. I look at things more like a 6-month period as being short term. Long term to me is a year, 18 months. That's when you're looking at a long term situation, especially depending on what your plan is from an investing standpoint. And I'm sorry.
And I'm right there with you, Reg. I think 6 months is the short term time period, right? I mean, you start thinking about the difference between short term gains and long term gains. Once you get to the year, it's considered a long term gain. So I mean, it even makes sense to say short term is a year and under, right? But to me, executing a year and under would be considered short term. Anything after that is a long term situation.
Thank you, Spencer. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. You're welcome on the show anytime. I'd like to do a few other segments with you, actually. Please your contact information so somebody, if they want to talk to you or try to invest, give me your contact information.
Definitely, man. So you can reach me at spencer.atkins, that's ADKINS @nm.com. And my cell, man, I'm a personable dude. Anybody can call me anytime. I had the same number since high school. I do not care. I talk to everybody. So my number is 239-404-2586. Because of COVID, I am doing free financial plans for any and everybody. All that costs is a conversation, right? I think that regardless, the future is whether it looks dark or whether it looks bright, regardless, you need a flashlight and a plan for it, right? So I've been doing that for a lot of people, just putting ideas on paper, putting a physical financial roadmap so that they can follow, so they can do the best thing and make the right decisions for their families and their businesses.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. And that is a blessing for many. This is Reggie Carmel After the Game. Spencer, thank you very much and have a great evening. It's good talking to you.
I appreciate you too, Reg.
Thanks.